Hello, my name is William, the Avid reader, and today I'm reviewing Prey, written by Michael Crichton in 2002. So this book was written after his two Jurassic Park books, but even if there are no dinosaurs, there are still a lot of interesting things in this book. And it's a sci-fi, of course, and it involves nanotechnology. So before I continue, spoilers ahead, and maybe even some discussion of some graphic content. There are 4 parts in this book. So it's 4 sections. He divided them. First part, which is about 150 pages, is about his home life, the home life of the main character, the protagonist. So protagonist is called Jack. So he's a former programmer, worked for the Zymos company, I believe, and there's a lot of connection between nanotechnology and programming and also biology. And since he lost his job over some scandal that his company was involved with, not himself directly, but the higher ups, he got fired and lost his job, and he's been a stay-at-home dad for a few months now, and been unsuccessful in getting jobs. And in this novel, we see in the first part that his wife, every time we see her in the first part, she's annoying, she's angry, she's rude. There's something weird off about her. She takes a shower each time she comes home. This character is called Julie. There's a suspicion that she's cheating, and she's a vice president of Zymos company. But he gets a call from a former co-worker that he's got an offer to get back and be a consultant at the Zymos company, and he takes it, and his sister Ellen comes over to take care of the kids while he's gone. The second and third part are about he comes over there and he learns what the problem is. There's a virus problem created. So the company has had a government contract to design some military stuff, something a bit like drones, and they're using nanotechnology, and they've decided something called swarms. And these swarms, they're these small black things, trying fix, and they swarm together like a bit of bees, and they eventually get out of control. So Julie has been playing with them, and it likes her for some reason, and it's been trying to get into the lab. And this is the original swarm, and that's the plot of the second and third part, is to get rid of this swarm because it's killed a rabbit and it's killing people, and a lot of other characters get killed by it. So at the end of the third part, they succeed in killing it, and it's very interesting, and you get a bunch of science on how they came to be and how they're evolving in generations, and they're evolving quite quickly, and apparently they go to sleep at night because they are powered by solar energy and things like that. And there's a lot of coding and biology involved, and they talk about the Lamarckian evolution theory, where each generation becomes better and better, gets better traits, and there's been tampering with technology, so this is why the swarm is created. Yeah, they succeed in killing it, this thing, at the end of the third part. And a couple of characters have been killed. An engineer who's scared of things, he's called David. He gets killed by this swarm because he panics when they're exploring outside. And then my friend Rosie, who's a bleeding heart, she tries to help him, and she gets killed also by the swarm. And they succeed in killing it and they find this, but before they found this mound that they built like termites, because termites, they can build the castle things like hotels, giant things, and if you took them to human size, it would be like if they built a skyscraper, and it's quite a complicated structure, even if it's not coordinated by a central leader. And that's how the swarm works, and they build something like that, but it's very big. And they manage to kill it, and Jack does this with the help of May. So she's a field biologist, and she looks at the dead rabbit that the swarm killed. And then the fourth part is like in the beginning it's like everything is okay, the battle has been won. But then Jack discovers through May, while Julie keeps to try to kiss him, and he refuses to kiss her. And we learn through videotapes. First, she has kissed his best friend Ricky, so there's some weird things. So he thinks that his suspicion of cheating are true. And then they see that there was a fight between Ricky and Julie against Charlie. So Charlie is this macho man who farts a lot, but he's quite interesting. He's a good guy, and he gets killed by these. He gets killed by them. Because he tries to phone for help and they don't let him, because in the fourth part they refuse to telephone, and then it is revealed the truth where they open their mouth and they have the swarm in their mouth and they give it to Charlie and Charlie dies. And when they learn this, then soon they have to find a plan to kill the swarms, Maya and Jack, because everyone else has it probably. And so May creates a distraction while Jack finds a cure or finds a way to destroy the lab. And May gets attacked by them, and Jack gets chased by them. He fights them at different times, and Jack succeeds, and then he and May, they escape the lab and it explodes. And it is revealed also that Julie has been acting weird because she has had the virus for a while now, or because she's been working with this virus thing. And the cheating, it's not clear if it began before, it's implied that it's happened when she got the virus. It's not clear, and the children have received the virus of Jack. That he found a cure and they've given it to the children, so people are sick, but the good guys win. So this plot may not seem as interesting as the Jurassic Park plot, but it's a very interesting read, and they work well. They do well with explaining the science of it and of how nanotechnology works and the history of it, and how biology is connected to it, and how programming is based on different animals such as insects, and that there's not always a core, and they're always evolving, and they are linked to each other, these animal-like sentience. And there's also a lot of foreshadowing in the book. It's done really well. So why the first part of the book, Julie's acting weird, and then in the fourth part we understand why. The suspicion of cheating is revealed how. Also the suspicion of why Ricky has been acting weird recently is revealed, because in the fourth part the swarm is controlling these people, but it's a more evolved, a benign swarm. In the same way that the original virus dies off in a healthy person if there's clean water, while a benign virus stays in the person and it spreads. And yeah, and it's a bit of a mystery novel, like sci-fi novel, so why is it happening this? And there are maybe some thrilling moments, a bit scary, so yeah, it's an interesting read. So how would I rank this novel, Prey? So I thought about it a while, and it keeps getting better and better. It's the first part reminds me of a bit of Coming Up for Air, written by George Orwell, where there's a crazy wife and the husband is miserable. And then the other parts are sci-fi things, and there's something wrong, and it builds up slowly, and people die. Not a lot of people die in this book, like less than 10, but the deaths are memorable, and when someone dies you feel it. So yeah, so how would I rate this book? Yeah, thought about it for a while. It can be considered a good book, a great book, or an amazing book. I have to say it's an amazing book. So it surprised me, but this is a better book than The Lost World, written the other dinosaur book. But Prey, I rank it 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. An amazing book. I rank this probably as my number 4 favorite book, below 1984, Jurassic Park, mystery, and Prey, because even if not the concept is not as strong, maybe it's not maybe a brilliant idea. I mean, I read most of it's 500 pages of a book, and I managed to read it in most of it yesterday. So if you can read something that fast, you know it's a good book. And the science, as always with Michael Crichton books, is well integrated with the biology, well explained, and this time the technology uniquely, and you get to see another perspective of how robots can evolve. And the foreshadowing, of course, is brilliantly done well, because there are these clues introduced early up in the beginning, and then you get to understand why things are working that way, and those you don't really get another as much in other Crichton books. So in a sense, it's better written than the other Crichton books I've read so far. But yeah, it's definitely better than The Lost World for me, and no, it's not as good for Jurassic Park, but that's because it's Jurassic Park. So yeah, 10 out of 10. So Michael Crichton, you managed to write another amazing book. I'm very impressed. All the books of Michael Crichton so far I've read are at least great. So yeah, 10 out of 10. Good job, Michael Crichton. So that was the Avid Reader's review of Prey, written by Michael Crichton in 2002. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I will see you guys next time.